It's season 4 of Discover the Difference, and I get to guest host yet again. Season 5. Season 4 recap.
Season's off to a good start.
It's season 5 of Discover the Difference, and we're recapping season 4. I just messed that up on the one before this, but we're doing it for real this time. And I'm your guest host, Wayne Partello from CUENTO Marketing, here with Jamie Reid and Gabe Erle, the co-founders of C3 and the hosts. And this year, you had some extra hosts in the seats with you as well of Discover the Difference. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we figured nobody understands why a couple of insurance guys have a podcast that has nothing to do with insurance. So we might as well pull more hosts in and make it even more confusing.
Yeah, but I think now 4 seasons in, we're going into season 5 as we are right now. Podcasts are an interesting mechanism for storytelling. And yeah, insurance guys having a podcast that have nothing to do with podcasts. Talk to us. Why did you do this? And let's talk about that first. Why do a podcast?
Well, we did it because you said we should do it.
Yeah,
but
we do everything that Wayne says.
No, but I mean,
Boy.
Wayne, you know, it's like in our business, it's a 2-part sell. We have to sell a client on a product, and we have to sell underwriters at insurance companies on clients. But to be able to sell anything, you have to lean into listening and really understanding someone else's story. So everything we do on social media, as you know, our audience is actually our internal team. And we're just trying to demonstrate to our team how we lean into anything with a ton of curiosity to really understand the story as the first step of what is a broader sales process. And then the byproduct is other people can join that conversation or listen in from afar via social media platforms.
I talk about this all the time, that strategy, and people, their minds are blown by utilizing social media as an internal strategy. But it's worked immensely for you guys because you said it, and one of the two of you, but I think it was you who said we can send as many emails as we want, but they're on their feed at night scrolling. We might as well put our message where we want our people to see the message. And you're right. That is where your employees are, and they are consuming more information there.
I think that's where everybody is, right?
Yeah.
If you think about like project management or software development, like they use tools like Slack. And when those things first came to market, admittedly, I didn't totally understand, like, what is this doing to replace an email? But that's what it's doing. It's containing it. It's putting it in a place that you know where to go find it, versus in an email, things just get buried. And as much as we want to celebrate a new baby or an engagement or whatever it may be, we don't want to see 100 more emails on that topic. And so social media is a great place if we can get everybody to follow it and you build systems to get people to follow it, to have those conversations.
I think, Instagram is pretty much the new email. I think about even my own kids, if I want to communicate with them, they're not even texting anymore. I got to download Snapchat and talk to them with Snapchat. So it's really about, meeting people where they're at.
Be interesting to get into Gabe's.
I just see his Snapchats.
Well, that's the great thing. It disappears.
It was funny, but because, on my podcast, Lesson from Sports, we take lessons that we learned in sports. And years ago, when I was, I think, in the NFL scouts were talking about how the players, not the scouts, the agents were telling me how their players, they did not communicate via text anymore. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, we are on Twitter DMs all day long. That's how we communicate. And then it was Instagram, right? When I got to baseball, it was like, oh, we just DM guys all day long. Like there is no more text messaging. And that to your point with Slack, you're like, if these are young kids, if that's where this is going, it's now Snapchat. It's the evolution of the messaging has evolved. And I applaud the strategy of utilizing social as an internal communication tool. Also, it does benefit from a business perspective. If I'm a prospective client or even a prospective employee looking at C3 on social media, I am getting a good glimpse into how you communicate with your employees and celebrate your employees. You guys do a really good job of making sure to recognize the accolades of people. So
yeah, I think you can, especially if you fold in LinkedIn, your social media platforms as a business are almost like your living, breathing portfolio. It speaks to who you are. we've had clients tell us they made decisions about going with us because the service offering seems similar, this seems similar, cost seems similar, and it came down to, hey, whoever has the happiest employees, we're going to go with. And so they checked our social media platforms, checked Indeed, checked Glassdoor, and deemed that our people must be happier and went with us for it. And this was always kind of a theory. And the first time I heard that, I was like, holy smokes, this is real.
Yep.
And then we've heard it multiple times since then. And so it's like, well, now a theory has become, yeah, there was a use case, and now it's become, confirmed.
Well, oh, sorry, Gabe.
I was just going to add to that how you kind of given us this advice about, really talking to, employees and also prospects and recruits, through a social media platform. It was the days ago where, website was where it's at, and people wanted to find out about you. They go on your bio. Those days are gone. Now they can really just connect with you through these mediums.
Yeah, what I love, I mean, Jamie and I have now gone on a road show, right? We go to conferences and we talk about this.
Hopefully South by Southwest is the next stop.
Let's go. And it started with the concept of storytelling, getting your story out there, and every touch point is important, but it's really evolved, right, to the Indies and Glassdoors of the world where employees have the opportunity. I, by the way, just went full Jamie Reid on someone the other day because they were like, I said, I would like you to pull up your Indeed and Glassdoor. I said, I'm not in this business. I just want to show you. And he opened it up and there were all these people just ripping their company. I was like, that isn't the important part. The important part is you haven't responded to that. That means you are blind to the perceptions of your business, to the prospect. And that says more about you than anything. And I think we've done a good job together, but you guys started this with C3 of doing it, responding to those in with humility, right? With honesty and doing the best you can, not vengeance, not anger, just let's acknowledge what this is. And I'm going to tell you my side of it. And the response from prospects is through the roof with it.
Well, the whole thing that we talk to businesses about is that your culture should live on those brands. So like when we respond to those things, we're just like everybody. We have people who criticize us. We try to find the truth in it so we can get better, acknowledge it, be empathetic, meet them where they're at. When we get positive reviews, we like to celebrate it, make the response humorous and fun and engaging, so that you're just not a company. You come to life a little bit, and it's one of the few places you can really bring yourself to life that your clients may go actually research and render an opinion on who you are.
Well, and if you're going to be different and like it that way, that's a way to be different online, right? Like
Absolutely.
throwing a little humor in Indeed is just funny to me, right? Like, because people are just not ready for humor in that platform, and it catches you a little off guard where you're like, oh, these people are, and then you go to your Instagram and throwing the biggest baby showers in history and St. Patrick's Day parties and all the different things that make people go, oh, it looks like a place I really want to work. I mean, I've told you this story. We have a new partner at our company and we were on the pitch and we're trying to do the business. I'm saying this carefully because I know Gabe is going to ask me for a commission off of the sale after I finish this story. But we're meeting with the woman and she's like, oh, who do you work with? And we're, listing all of our clients. And then we said C3. And
We're the top of the list, right?
always at the top of the list. You're always right there. And you're the original. And she goes, oh my God, my friend works there. If I ever want to switch careers and go and work in insurance, I want to work there too. She literally is the COO of this company. She's like, I follow them on social media and it just looks like so much fun. And she always says how much she enjoys work. But that had made its way across to this woman who is running another company, huge fan of the brand because of how much fun your employees looked like they were having.
Gabe was with me. As you know, we have a close relationship with the California Trucking Association, a lot of large trucking companies. It's an industry that moves like the Catholic Church, a little bit slower. They're the last on the curve for technology and all these things. And the incoming president, we were with him and we were like, it's time we become like C3. And he's like, I follow your stuff.
Yep.
He's like, I love that you guys never post about insurance. I was like, well, we post about it here or there. And he's like, well, maybe 1 out of every 10. But he said his point was he felt like he knew the character of the company. He's like, I know you do insurance. He's like, but following the types of story you're putting up help me get to know you as you all as a business personality. And that's what we're trying to show there.
I think that was your challenge, right?
Yeah.
And from the beginning was if you could make insurance sexy, you could do anything.
But if you think about who you do business with, you do business with people you connect with, right? And so utilizing these platforms, back to where we all full circle, the podcast is an opportunity for somebody to get to know you. You guys, I know your business has grown exponentially, right? Amazing. Congrats. But that just means there's less time in the day, right? Utilizing technology to connect with more people and give you more reach. This is, sure, anybody can tune in and learn from this, but also it's really important to your employees that you're teaching them lessons as you go through this with each one of these interviews. And I think that's really important. So we're going to transition into recapping. Look at that transition, huh? That guy's a pro. Into season 4. Let's just, rather than going episode by episode, I'd love to talk about just some of your favorite moments from season 4. You interviewed, well, let's start here. You brought in some co-hosts this year. I love that you did that. Let's talk about why you did that. Why did you have some other people join you and interviewing some of these folks?
I think, there's a couple of reasons. One, to shake it up a little bit. Two, it's some of these people brought the guests. So you have a little bit more intimate experience. I'll give you the example, childhood hero of mine, Landon Donovan. Matt Clark he plays golf with him. He's good friends with him. And when I found out that they were friends, I'm like, wow, that would be amazing to have him on the show.
Can I ask a question? Childhood hero. How old were you? What's the age difference between you and Landon Donovan?
Well, it was a good call out.
I'm just asking.
He's a few years older.
He's rewriting his childhood.
So good. I love it.
I mean, I think, my teenage and college years I was a child.
That's fair. That's fair.
I probably still am.
Right. Yeah. We're all children at heart. It makes sense. No,
I'd be more vulnerable with it because I just heard a week or two ago about a partner in our firm questioning like why we even do a podcast.
okay.
And so I think bringing in other people inside our organization who have an interesting person that we could sit down and get to know their story, it helps that person really live it and breathe it. We walk them through, how they can help that person cast out the podcast, how they can take a part in it, how they get tagged in it. And then what inevitably happens is, the next Friday night after that hits the airways, people start asking about it at, the party they're at. Like, I saw you were at this party with Landon Donovan, or I saw you were on this podcast with Landon Donovan. Like, what was going on? And Landon himself said, I thought I was coming to some insurance office to have like a boring talk, and, Gabe had him talking about like the most vulnerable points of his life right out of the gate. And
Amazing.
At the end, he's like, I've been on hundreds of podcasts. I've never talked about the relationship with my dad and the motivation and drive it fueled my life with.
Yeah, he talked about how he struggled with depression and how his dad leaving when he was at a young age really impacted him, and both positively and negatively. And it was really, really interesting.
Yeah, and I love where this all started too, around the art form of asking the right questions to get the answers that you need to learn more about the person on the other side of the table, right? As a salesperson, that's what we do all day long. If you're a good salesperson, you should be listening more than you're talking, even though
100%.
people believe that the greatest skill in sales is the ability to gift a gab, which we all have. But the art is listening, because that's what you can come back with solutions. And so I love that you went deep there, because it's showing your team that there is an art to getting to the right answer, and to be if you can get to somewhere where somebody like Landon Donovan's probably been interviewed more than anybody you've ever interviewed, and to go somewhere where he hadn't gone before and not about insurance probably threw him for a loop. That's amazing. Good job, Gabe.
I think another cool part, Mia helped us connect with John Wicker, the AD for San Diego State. I don't even think I've ever been within a mile of an AD. I've never spoke to any of them. And it's one of the things I love about the industry we're in. When we're talking to college kids and high school kids about our industry, one of the most awesome parts about it is you constantly get exposed to these little micro communities that exist that make the world go round that we experience every day, but that you don't understand who's doing what or the level of detail that goes into it. And so just getting to sit down with him and not talk necessarily about sports,
Right.
talk about the economics behind what he's doing, getting the stadium, moving conferences, all of this stuff. It was just a fascinating conversation for me to have about a world that I knew nothing about.
He's a tremendous guy. It's funny. CUENTO, full disclosure, we are a partner with San Diego State Athletics now, but years prior, living here, working in the athletic space for a long time, getting a new stadium built in San Diego, you guys know,
Seemingly
it was
impossible.
just never going to happen. And that meant we were going to lose an NFL team, which we did. It meant we were never going to get an MLS team, which we were never right? Now we do. Like, this all happens off of an amazing threading of the needle that JD did to get, Snapdragon Stadium built, and corporate support from our friends at Qualcomm, all these different people coming to the table. And then the conference move where he was in position to do it, it falls apart. I mean, devastation, right? When you talk to him, like, and all of a sudden resurrects it out, right? And now it's happening again. And just the energy and the excitement about the future of San Diego State athletics, and just a great guy who has done an amazing job leading and navigating really choppy waters.
But when you look at going to Snapdragon and you're just like dumbfounded by the really cool stadium it is, he taught what was really interesting is like all the stars had to align, and
Sure.
there were so many challenges, and he talked about all the challenges that it wasn't going to happen. And what was really the really interesting nugget is that he said is that it never would have happened but for COVID.
Oh, interesting.
And so get into that episode and you'll learn a little bit more why.
That's a good point.
But that was something that just blew me away, is like these little nuggets of like all these things happen, and now we have this great stadium here in San Diego.
By the way, did you see the crowd response to the first goal in the stadium? I caught it on my reel the other day. It was like awesome. They did such a good job with that.
Yeah, seeing the MLS team brought to life here in San Diego, and SDFC, opening match, which I went to, was incredible. Also, full disclosure, San Diego Football Club is also a CUENTO partner.
It's good we get a couple plays.
Yeah, we have partner clubs. We appreciate that. We appreciate all the partnerships. Much love. But we went to that first match, and we had just started working with them, so we don't know anybody yet. We're just figuring it out. But the show was the energy, the passion for the sport, the passion for the city, the passion for the star players. I mean, it was awesome and great to see. And so I grew up. I mean, I know you grew up in a sports town. I grew up in Boston, right? Like, we both probably believe that we are like from the capital of Sportsville, USA. When I came here, there was this like, oh, well, they don't have the passion that Boston sports fans have. They don't have the passion. And I've always said, no, they have the passion. What they also have is
The distraction.
they have so many other things, but the passion is real. Like, when the Padres are playing the way they've been playing the last few years, I'll put that passion up against anybody's passion. Like, the hate for the Dodgers is as strong as any hate I ever had for the Yankees as a child. That's real. Like, I'll straight watching SDFC fans as an expansion franchise day one hate LAFC like that. I was like, tell me this city doesn't have the passion.
Right.
Like, let's go. And I love it. I love seeing it. But again, as I sent JD a note, like, it doesn't happen. We don't have that moment without all of the stars aligning to make Snapdragon Stadium a reality for not just for San Diego State, but for this entire community. And that's pretty exciting. So, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to shift. I was going to say, like, as I kind of reflect on like what's 4 seasons cut of podcasts, and we're about through season 5 now. One of the unexpected benefits for me was, we met Van Leidemon, who came on season 1. And then people ask me all the time, because they see my social media posts of how active we are with veterans and military and all that. People all the time, and probably because my high cut hair with my alopecia, if I'm a veteran. And I'm like, no, nobody in my family ever served. And they're like, they were asking about the relationship of like, we just kind of fell into this like a few years ago. But by having people like Robert Sweetman who came on, we're just keep magnifying out that base. And that thread came through the Honor Foundation. We're going to have a couple people tied to the Honor Foundation in season 5.
Yep.
But Robert was a really interesting one. We also had Diego Ugalde, but just to speak to Robert, how it can shift, not just what happens in business, but in personal life too. Not only is Robert awesome, he runs a sleep therapy company, really targeting veterans and trying to cut down on PTSD and suicides, etc. But he's also one of the biggest fundraisers for the Navy SEAL Foundation, who Gabe and I have a relationship through our work with Alder. And so I ended up taking our kids out. We raised money with this 62 Romeo team Robert puts together, go to New York, support all these 300 Navy SEALs swimming from New Jersey Monument across to Ground Zero. And it was just epic on a personal level. And so I love just these kind of nuances that get opened up in your life that you weren't even trying to achieve, that find their way to you and just enhance everything about it.
Yeah, you guys have introduced me into the Honor Foundation as well, and I think probably some of the most rewarding conversations I've had are with folks who are transitioning out of the the elite, right, like teams, and they're trying to navigate that path just like anybody else, right? These are skilled tacticians, right? But now trying to enter a world that they have never been in. And you realize people who probably in their entire life have never been afraid of much, looking at this new world that we live in every day. And what's been really fulfilling for me in those conversations is drawing the parallels from the experiences that they have had and showing them how that does relate to what we all do every day and how success is coming to them and that they will be okay. And that there's some magic on in all of the resources and people willing to be part of that growth and success for them. And I thank you guys for that introduction. It's been real blessing to have those conversations and share a little bit of that. I think, I don't know anything, but it's just cool. I'm like, what do you want to talk to me about? But I've been really, really interested. I know you guys have done a lot of those conversations as well.
Yeah. What's really cool is a lot of these, really elite military guys and gals that come out and they get involved in these nonprofits or other organizations that, address things like depression and anxiety and PTSD. And then we have our own team members that are listening to this, and they have family members that may have, have depression or served in the military and PTSD, and then they get connected through this. So it's really cool to see that whole come full circle.
Yeah, the amplification of a story, right? And that's what podcasts allow for, right? Is like we could sit in this room, we could have a great conversation. We are all joking with the crew today. Like 3 of us could sit here and talk forever. But to wrap it all up and to kind of put a bow on it and make it digestible and say, hey, here's some nuggets of a conversation between 3 guys who have started companies in the last 10 years who are trying to find their own way, cut their own teeth and create something. It's unique. It's different, right? And, when I was going to start my company, you were one of the first people I called. I was like, you guys just did this. How did you do it? What did you do? You also told me I was crazy. I should go back to work.
I was like, I wouldn't leave that gig so soon. I don't know.
That was a fact, actually.
Yeah, but these guys are awesome because the things they learn are directly correlate in the business world. Accountability and ownership of everything they do, their growth mindset, they quick feedback loops, all of that stuff is applicable in the business world. And so putting a plug in for it, we're at the 1 yard line, going in to the end zone to become a SkillBridge certified employer.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to work with your team on creating a journey of that process. So we've been documenting what that looks like, and we're going to start sharing it. And then we're going to start hosting seminars to teach other businesses how to do it, because it can really help augment some of the investment capital as a transition from military to civilian world. And it benefits both the active military person that's looking to transition, as well as the organization, if you get structured the proper way.
Amazing.
So
Great.
that was something that was also not on our radar.
Yeah.
But having been exposed to so many of these individuals, one of them early on, actually, that Vaughn introduced us to, and Eric Brown, he actually started talking to us about Skill Bridge, and what I hadn't heard of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm super excited for us to get to the place where we start rolling that out as well.
Yeah, and I think you guys have done a really nice job of cultivating a culture that embraces those same principles, right? And because at the end of the day, the things that differentiate us is our ability to quickly solve problems and make decisions, right? Like that's what they're trained at all day, every day. When we actually sit down and have a beer and talk about what we did all week, the three of us, when that happens, very rarely right now, I'll tell you that. But when we used to, we work in the same building. This is our first time seeing each other since I moved in.
Like months
back. But it's because, but when we do that, we talk about the problems we had this week and how we solved them. Like, and that's what we're most proud of. Like, oh, we had this situation, we jumped in on it. This is how we solved it. And we're all like, yeah, that's amazing, right? Like, but when you sit down with those guys, I mean, they can't really tell us everything they saw, but they talk about the skills that they've learned that solve problems. You're like, guys, this is it's half the battle. Like,
yeah, it's life or death.
You know, one of the hardest problems you have with employees is when they can't make a decision. When they just sit there and spin, you waste time. Time is money. And then, like, I don't know, for me, that drives me crazy. It's like, let's go.
Us too.
Yeah, it's killer. So, all right. Those are some of your favorite moments. We've got some exciting stuff coming.
Wait, I want to.
Oh, you got one more. All right, let's go.
I just want to plug Diego Galde, because I think the work he's doing, you know, it's still where psychedelics are in the realm of being legal. It reminds me of what marijuana was years ago, where it's medically legal in a lot of states now. Some states not at all. Has some ways to go, but Diego is really working to demonstrate how it can be so helpful with veterans or anybody who has PTSD in their life, to help treat and work through that. And so that episode to me was just super interesting to hear his work and how he's taken veterans down to Peru to, you know, spend 3 days on a journey, and just how impactful. And it's not that they fix their life in 3 days, but they get this start that gives them hope and momentum. I just thought it was really inspirational. And if military people listen to this, because there's so many of them on, Diego's a guy to know if you're unresolved in the PTSD world.
And I got one more plug. That's Heather Wepley.
Okay.
She, we have a lot of people on with, you know, personal growth, a growth mindset. And she wrote an award-winning book about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And that's something that what I was really fascinated about is that 90% of us, including me, have it.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, how do you just recognize it, have awareness of it, and then how do you overcome it? And so I would definitely tune into that one. It was really, really valuable.
It's so real. I mean, you know, people meet up, you have these conversations. They're like, oh, you've done all these things. You're like, let me tell you how I was feeling the day I did those things, right? I mean, it's real. Yeah. You know, I'll tell you a little cuento. But I just got a call this morning, and I just got to tell this story. It was very funny, so I'll share it. But imposter syndrome, right? We can keep this in or not, but it's a good story.
Keep it in.
So it was my first, I got a job in the NFL. I'm working for the Miami Dolphins, and it's pretty much a dream job, right? I get sent to my first NFL conference. Those who don't know, I travel comfortable. I'm a big fella. I like to be comfy. So I have, like, you know, hoodie, little you know, gym shorts on, sneakers. I walk to the lobby of the hotel. Right inside, they're setting up for the cocktail hour. And it's all these NFL employees, and every one of them looks exactly the same. They have khaki pants on with, like, you know, shoes, brown belt, and everybody's just got different colored polo shirts on. There's a black one, a blue one, some blues, dark blues. Everybody looks, I mean, the same. I don't even own a polo shirt at this point. I didn't own khaki pants. I didn't know what I was going to do. I'm like, everything I have is loud and bright, and these are all muted things. What am I going to do? So I went upstairs, and this is imposter syndrome, like, amplified. And I went upstairs and pretended I was going for a run. And I went running until I could find a store that sold polo shirts. And I found a Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. And I got a polo shirt with a parrot on it. It was a black polo with a parrot on it. And I saved it as like a momentum of this, like a memento. My wife eventually donated it, but I really wish I still had it. And I wore that to the cocktail party to fit in. And by the end of the night, and after a few cocktails, I loosened up and forgot to pretend I was trying to be an NFL person. And I just became me again. And then I arranged for us all to go out. I made all these contacts and I was like, you know what? Why am I trying to be somebody else? Let's just be me. And I went the next day and I had my outrageous shirt and shoes, whatever I normally wear. By the end of the day, my shoes were trending on the event app. Like, it's like Wayne's shoes. And I was
Were
like,
they the flamingos?
but yeah, no, those are great though. But to your point, like I just told that story this morning to somebody. I was trying to help them understand imposter syndrome. And it's like, it's a real thing. And like, you get this opportunity, you look around the room and you're terrified to be in that room. Like, how did I get here? And those moments when you overcome them and you look back, we laugh about it today because you're like, of course you belonged there.
Yeah.
Dude, you went on and you did all these amazing things. But I know you guys, when you started this thing and you were, oh, we're going to do our own thing. And everybody's like, yeah, sure you are. Yeah, sure, guys. Yeah. And now you're doing it. And, now you go on to the next thing. You reach for something further that challenges you. And you're like, oh, do I belong here? How do I? And you're like, you do, but we all question ourselves. I think you'd be a little, to your point, if it's 90%, that's probably right. Because if you're in that 10%, you're a special person. You think you belong everywhere.
Yeah, well, the 10% of those people are just lying to themselves.
I love it. All right, so season 5, we're going to do something different. Last year, we brought in some more co-hosts. I know we're going to continue down that path, but we're also going to do some other exciting things. What do we got coming up?
Well, we're going live. Actually, in 2 days, we're going live.
Okay.
I was telling everybody.
Not going live.
We're going live audience recording, not live on online. Technical.
Fast
Yeah.
checkers over.
I think
here.
she's not on the line. It's going to be a live audience, which we've done once with Dave Sanderson when he came to the Biggest Sharks event. So we have a little bit of experience with it, but I was sharing like, hey, I'm a little bit nervous. We got 2 CIA guys coming. We know one of them. The other one,
they could talk about it.
Sure.
yeah, we don't totally know. We haven't been able to get time with them to do the prep. So this one's literally coming in pretty darn cold on the thing. But one of the guys just got a huge promotion within the CIA.
Wow.
So we'll wait.
Does he know that he's coming in to do a podcast?
I sure hope he does. I haven't actually spoke to him. I didn't message with him on LinkedIn the other day, so I think so.
Okay.
But we're going live audience because we want to just give the real time exposure. We really are doing this for our own internal teams.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna have our team start showing up.
Love it.
And with the goal, and it was really inspired because we're set to have a pro water polo player, multiple time Olympian, and my kid's favorite guy on the show. I was like, all right, if we get him, I got to bring my kids' tees and but then that kind of got the juices flowing, like let's just have our team be able to see it and experience it real time. So we're not sure if it's going to be success or failure or not, but we're going to give it a go and see if it has an impact.
But one of our kind of core things at CUENTO is to produce once and distribute many.
Right.
And I love the live distribution. I love that touch point. You are bringing in amazing guests, right? And basically what it becomes, as it originally started, which was guest speakers every month that you guys were interviewing guest speakers that you shared via podcast. Now you're just adding that original component of it's live. I love that.
My dad jokes work a lot better with a live audience.
It's just because they feel bad for us, Gabe. It's like they don't find it funny, like, and same for me, but it's like they feel like they have to laugh. So my business partner will be the one to be like, you don't have to laugh at him.
And we have things
Say to just
and we have the screen that tells them when to laugh.
Yeah, that's a relationship,
right. I'm aware. Yeah. So except for when it comes to budget, you and I,
right? Yeah. We're on the sales side of it.
Yeah, I think that I'm really excited about that. And you guys are going to do a couple lives, and you're going to have some guests. You're going to have some guest hosts as well, some additional C3 employees part of the journey with you this year as well.
Yeah,
Fun.
it's gonna be awesome.
I love it. Well, guys, we started this venture of starting a podcast together, and you're right, it was a crazy idea that I threw out there that, sometimes Jamie and I are like playing on this other stratosphere of like ideation, and then we have to go talk to Gabe, and
I'm like, well, how much is this thing going to cost?
Yeah, he grounds us real quick.
but I'm really excited. We were just anecdotally talking about some of the ancillary benefits of doing a podcast, some of the things that have happened in business. And, from prospective clients and employees knowing who you are and having that kind of warm introduction and people feeling like they know a little bit more about you. And then obviously the goal of this was to share with your employees incredible people that they could get access to through you. I love that. Congratulations on another great season. Maybe next year we do a recap. We'll do it in front of a live audience. If the live audience is there, we can sort of state of everything and have some fun. But appreciate you guys. I love you. I'm proud of everything you do. And this is
But no, we appreciate that you brought it to us. Early on, we joked that people would ask us like, who listens to it? Or, like a client or somebody maybe says something like that. We're like, well, right now it's just my mom and his mom. But we were interviewing a broker the other day, and he literally said to us, he's like, you guys are just like you are on your podcast. And we're like, you watched our podcast? He's like, yeah, I went and watched the last 3 episodes. And he's like, they were awesome. And it really helped me frame who I was getting ready to sit down with. And so I don't know if there's more than our moms and him who listen to it or not, but getting positive feedback from people that you're willing to get out there and take chances on things like this. I have gratitude toward you, and
I appreciate it.
Thank you for it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, there are things that in marketing that you don't get that instant gratification from. And today, everybody wants that instant gratification. They want the lower funnel tactics that just convert to today. And I think even before we started CUENTO and you guys were doing C3 and we were just friends chatting, we talked about long-term strategies and things that paid off. That those are the ones that matter because they pay off. And the things that I love are the things that hang around forever. Like a podcast exists forever. Whatever happens in life, whatever, people can go back and consume that content. And the content you guys create is so evergreen. You are learning a lot from really important people. And I love that too. So if somebody joins your company today, they could consume all of this. It doesn't go away. And it allows them to really go on the journey of all these amazing people and take away those lessons. And so congratulations. Another season in the books, and we got more to do. And let's continue to be different.
Well, it's going to be an awesome season. We have Olympians. We have some military leaders, current CEO of the Honor Foundation coming on, and some really great business leaders. So stay tuned for some really great episodes about to come out.
I've wrapped it up cleanly twice. I'm going to try it one more time. I've done the I love you guys, and then I did let's continue to be different. I don't have anything else left. Let's just say we'll see you next time.